Hey everyone, welcome back to Aftermath. Today we are covering where to find the best loot in the game. I have made a video in the past kind of like this, but we're doing an updated version this time. But before we get into it, I'm doing a developer Q&A soon, so if you have any questions for the developers of Aftermath, leave them in the comment section and I'll do my best to ask them. Just make sure you start out the comment with Q&A so I know that you're wanting to ask a question to the devs. Also, a good portion of you guys who are watching my videos aren't subscribed, so if you'd like to see more Aftermath content, please subscribe. Or if you don't, I won't be offended. Anyways, cliche YouTuber line over. Let's start the video. So what's the point of this guide if I can just open up the map and walk around to the nearest yellow or red loot spot? Well, this guide serves to give you specifics as to where to find loot in these spots, as well as to show a few unlabeled spots as well. There's a good chance that you may already know this information. This video is geared more towards beginner and intermediate players, but there's still a chance you might learn something from this guide. And last thing, I'm certain that I've missed some spots, so if you find anything that I missed, please leave a comment below, or if I've made a mistake, feel free to just comment down and help out your fellow players. First up, we're taking a look at the quarry. The quarry is a good spot to get geared. They recently updated this area, adding a cache, but removing some bunk chests and adding weapon locker. In the upper section of the quarry, they have an office building with a small supply box. I wouldn't rely on this to give you good loot, but on the off chance you're here, check it anyways. There's a small cache located in the mill building. Caches are a reliable way to find good weapons and some other rare goodies. There will be lots of these caches referenced in this guide. As you head towards the warehouses, you can see a cache by this tipped over truck and a weapon box in this truck bed. To access this box, get on the staircase and jump in the truck bed. Inside the large warehouse building, there's another cache located up the stairs. On the bucket wheel excavator, you can find a couple weapon boxes, a supply crate, a cache, as well as a bunk chest. Bunk chests contain high-tier clothing and supply items, so make sure you check those whenever you pass by them. Quick tip: when you're in the upper section of quarry, make sure you're checking along the top of the pit as well as below to see if there are any players nearby. As you head down, there's a covered open wall hangar. In there you can find a cache. In the bottom of the pit, there's a millie station building that has weapon lockers in the lower section. Weapon lockers are a great spot to find mid to high tier weapons. Inside the hangar below, there's a cache. And now we're at the Hazmat tents. Inside the Hazmat tents, you can find medical supplies and sometimes ammo. Make sure you check the cabinets too, as they have medical supplies sometimes as well. Lastly, at the quarry, you can see green smoke. This is a radiation zone. Radiation zones are usually a great spot for loot, but it gives you the radiation effect if you go in unprotected. You can protect yourself from radiation from collecting a hazmat suit. I've made a video on how to get the hazmat suit before, but a quick guide to get a hazmat suit is to kill hazmat zombies and check hazmat tents until you get all 3 pieces of the hazmat suit to fully protect yourself from radiation. You need a gas mask as well as a hazmat shirt and pants. You can run into radiation zones without hazmat gear, but you'll lose health. But as long as you have healing supplies, you should be able to outlast the radiation effect. In the quarry radiation zone, you can find a weapon box, supply box, and 2 caches. The radiation effect goes down over time if you get infected while being unprotected. So keep that in mind. That's it for quarry. Next up is Aosta Town. Nearly a village has a couple good spots for loot. First is the gun store located here. You can find some low tier, mid tier weapons here, as well as a bunch of ammo. There's a rare chance for high tier weapons here as well. Just outside the gun store here are vending machines. These vending machines sometimes have energy drinks here. Energy drinks are good to have during firefights and chases to outlast your opponent in terms of stamina, giving you a slight advantage. Keep an eye out for these across the map. The other spot in hardly a city is the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office, there's an abundance of weapon lockers as well as a cache inside the weapon room. You can find some mid to high tier weapons here. Located southeast of Aosta Town is the bomb shelter. The bomb shelter has a couple supply crates outside and some great loot inside. To enter the shelter, you need a black floppy disk and some gasoline. You get the black floppy disk after killing a tactical zombie. After that, you can now loot inside. You'll just put the floppy disk inside of the computer and the gas in the generator. You can find lots of weapons, medical supplies here, as well as a guaranteed 50 BMG sniper rifle. I won't spend too much time on this one, as that would take the novelty away from some of you. Anyways, have fun here. Heading west, we have the Airfield. The Airfield usually has lots of players here, as well as loot. Over in the garages, you can see there are plenty of caches to loot. Oftentimes there's good loot located in these crates and caches in the hangars here as well. But be careful. The players in the ATC tower have a pretty good position that can see you from every spot in the airfield. Below the ATC tower, there are military tents. These usually have ammo, medical supplies, and some military weapons. Make sure you check the weapon lockers inside the office building here for more weapons. Inside the ATC tower, there isn't much loot besides a single cache, so keep that in mind if it's worth the risk for you. And lastly, at Airfield, we have the barracks. There are plenty of bunk chests in the barracks for your high-tier clothing and equipment, as well as a single hazmat tent. Redfield is a location that has been revamped a couple of times and has a lot of good loot. The excavation site is a hidden location that has a supply crate, but really isn't that worth going to most of the time. In the center of Redfield, there are lots of military tents that have some bunk chests and weapon crates. There are a few hazmat tents here as well. However, the main attraction in Redfield is the hospital. Inside the hospital, you can find some medical coolers that have good medical items, as well as most of the cabinets inside the hospital have healing supplies. So if you are ever low on medical supplies, head over to Redfield to stock up on them. Just south of Redfield is our first unmarked loot spot. There's a military outpost here that is good to get geared at, especially if you're a freshie that just spawned nearby. It's located right here on the map. Next up is Prison. Prison has some good weapon spawns and supplies. At the desk, you can find great guns too. Usually military supplies spawn here. Inside the cells, there's a chance for a weapon to spawn. Make sure you loot those too. Scattered throughout Prison, there's also some weapon lockers. The guard towers have a little bit of loot, but it's usually not worth it. Just ammo usually spawns up there. For our second unmarked location is the bunker. The bunker has the highest concentration of loot in the game, however, it's very difficult to get inside. For that, you'll need to get a red floppy disk from a special zombie inside the nuclear power plant. Make your way into the bunker and prepare for battle, because there are NPCs in the bunker that shoot at you. Make sure you're armored up and have some good medical supplies. Here you can find tons of good loot. There are max tier helmets, vests, as well as the face shield. There are Soviet weapons located only here and nowhere else on the map, which is really cool. Make sure you loot up here if you stumble across a red floppy disk. Next up we have New Haven. New Haven was recently added to the southwest side of the map, located near Prison. It has some great loot here, in the center by the town hall. There are some hazmat tents here with medical supplies and hazmat gear. as well as a military loot area with a generator access area. Make sure you bring some gas with you to access the loot behind the powered gate. Up on the roof, there's a couple of supply boxes that you can climb up to from inside the town hall. There's also a hunting store in the town that holds lots of mid-tier weapons and rarely high-tier weapons too. Everyone's favorite city that is always busy, Paradise. First up is the military stop in the middle of the road here. There's a cashier as well as a couple weapon spawns on the ground. Also in Paradise, there's a fire station. You can sometimes find some good clothing, rucksacks, and weapons scattered throughout the station here. Make sure you check upstairs in the weapon lockers though. On the southwestern side of Paradise, there's a hunting store with some mid-tier weapons and sometimes some rares too. Just down the road from the hunting store is the hospital, also known as Tallest by the community. Careful here. Lots of players like to camp here or battle here, so come here knowing that. You can find some good medical supplies here. Next up, you can find some good police and military weapons located in the police station in Paradise. On the first floor, there is a bunch of weapon lockers and supply crates, so check there. And the last spot in Paradise is the military outpost. Head there with some gas and loot up the tents, and the spot right behind the gate. You'll need gas for this as well. Next, at the radio tower, you can head up to the top to find some basic military supplies with a cache, cooler, and a supply box. But it's really risky, so head up at your own risk. Up here, there's a computer as well. This computer takes a blue floppy disk. Make sure you fill the generator below and insert the disk into the computer. You can then get an airdrop for free using this method. You can get a blue floppy disk by killing any zombie. They have a low chance to drop one. Down below, there are some military caches, weapon lockers, and bunk chests scattered throughout these buildings here. Careful though, lots of players like to lurk here. The last spot to find some great gear is the nuclear power plant. Located in the southeast part of the map, this radiation zone is home to lots of high-tier loot. On the outskirts of the plant, there are some garages here with some caches. Further in there, there's a fire station as well as a mill building. Go here for some mid to high tier weapons. Also, at nuclear power plant, keep an eye out for the Soviet zombie. It has a chance to spawn anywhere here. So, make sure you take it out if you see it and grab the floppy disk. I recommend bringing a vehicle if you have access to one to loot the power plant because there's usually lots of zombies here, and lots of military ones outside, so that helps you, kill them really easily. Here you can see there is a garage. There are some floor spawns as well as a cache here. Surrounding the reactor building, there are some military and hazmat tents. Usually there's a large concentration of zombies in this specific spot. Inside the reactor building is where the good stuff happens. You can see you have a couple of options when you enter here. I recommend you just head to the right and up the stairs. You can find a cache located just up the stairs, as well as a medical room. You can walk through the offices here to find some mid-tier weapons, or you can just walk by and head to the reactor room. On the floor in the reactor room, you can oftentimes find some great military weapons and gear. Next, head up the ladder here to find loads of military loot. Depending on which way you came in, You can see some hazmat and a large military tent here. Go here to potentially find some more hazmat gear. Another thing you can do to prepare for your nuclear run is to bring some duct tape to repair your hazmat shirt and pants. You can't repair the mask though with duct tape. Lastly, at nuclear, find the staircase outside and head to the top up here. Here you can find some high-tier military weapons, usually including a sniper or some assault rifles. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. I appreciate all of your support on the channel. Remember to leave a question for the developers in the comment section for a Q&A video I'll be making soon. Thank you all so much, and I will see you later.